When you were a kid, you thought you were going to be rich. When you were a kid, you thought you were the smartest. You thought you were the fastest. You thought you were the strongest. You thought you were going to be a superhero. You thought you were going to be able to fly. You thought all these great things. I want to know, and in this video today, we're going to talk about what in the hell happened to you. This is Mark Bell from SuperTraining Gym. SuperTraining Gym, the strongest gym in the West. I don't know about you guys, but I know for myself, and I know in my many seminars that I've done around the world, and I know with all the different people that I've coached, being the people's coach, all the different people I've been in contact with over the years, in addition to that, with all the children that have been in my life via my family, my cousins, my extended family, and so forth. There's a lot of kids running around. What I've noticed is that when you're a kid, you have these hopes and dreams, and they're really, really powerful. And you really, truly believe that these things are going to happen. When you're 6 years old and somebody says, hey, what do you want to do with your life? You say, I'm going to be a professional baseball player. And then someone's like, well, how are you going to do that? And you'll say, I don't know, I'm going to play a lot of baseball. You're not even really sure how you're going to do it, but you seem so sure that you are going to do it. For me, that dream was being a professional football player. I remember actually having somebody come to one of our school like auditorium type things where they were talking, and they said, you know, who in here wants to be great? And I remember being a kid, you know, everybody's not only arm went up, but everybody stood up, everybody got up, and everyone was all fired up, and we're all like, you know, cheering and getting all fired up. And we had the Harlem Globetrotters there, and they picked me out of the crowd, and you know, they steal the ball from you and stuff, and they mess with you, and they let you shoot on them, they let you score on them, and different things like that. But what I want to try to address today is, like, where did that go? Like, where did that sensation go, and why do we let our dreams die? I'm guilty of it. I'm sure you guys are guilty of it. I never did become a professional football player, in case you guys were wondering. I always wanted to. I knew every stat about Bo Jackson and Barry Sanders and Eric Dickerson and Dan Marino and Joe Montana and Steve Young, and all the different information about all the different teams. I really loved and really enjoyed football. I actually trained for it, and I actually tried to follow through with my dreams. I did the best I could to follow through with my dreams. At least I think that I did. When it came down to it, I just wasn't that talented at football. But what I wanted to talk about today is, you know, why are we allowing our hopes and dreams to die? Because when I was a kid, there's a lot of things that I held on to as a kid that I did end up making come true. When I was a kid, I wanted to be rich, and I was able to fulfill that. I wanted to be a professional athlete. I was able to fulfill that to a certain extent, being a power lifter. I know that this does not really all that professional, and I know that in my professional powerlifting career, I only made $1,000 and won a king-size package of peanut M&Ms. But hey, it's still something, right? And I ended up becoming famous and wealthy via powerlifting in some weird way through the extension of the products that we have here at Slingshot. So even though I may have lost my initial exact dream, I was still able to clench onto the general dream, and I was still able to hold on to being a dreamer. And my question to a lot of you guys and girls that are watching this right now is, why aren't you still dreaming? Who crushed your dreams and why? And why'd you let them get away with it? And why'd you let your dreams die? I actually, years ago here at Slingshot, I made a comment to one of our employees, and I said, please don't let my dreams die. And I was kind of kidding around, and it was about maybe like a t-shirt or about making some stickers or something. It was something kind of silly, but I later thought about the implications of what I said and thought about it more, and I was like, don't let your dreams die. That's it. Don't let your dreams die. Keep pushing things forward so that they don't die. Keep pushing things forward so that they manifest. Keep pushing things forward so that they come to be. I think that if we're to backtrack here for a minute and we were to ask a group of children, if we were to say, hey, who in here in the room, you know, wants to strive for greatness? All the hands would go up, right? Well, almost all. Maybe a couple kids that are self-conscious or whatever, but for the most part, most kids would be fired up. Who here is going to be a professional athlete? Bunch of hands would go up. Who in here is a genius? Well, a lot of kids would respond well to that too. A lot of kids would say, hey, like, yeah, I'm a genius, because they don't really know the implications. They don't really know what you're asking necessarily. As you move upward, and as you ask high school kids, hey, who in here, wants to do something great in their life? You're going to see a lot of kids being really apprehensive, because they're like, well, I don't know if what if I strive for greatness, and what if I get hurt? And what if I don't succeed? And what if I fail? What if I don't? All the what ifs start to come in, because there's some self-doubt that's happening at that moment. And what I think is that when it comes to this, when you're trying to think about how you're going to hang on to your hopes and your dreams and how you're not going to let them die, I think that one of the key factors is to always breathe some air into them, and to always keep them alive, and always understand that things will work out. Things will not work itself out. Things don't necessarily work themselves out. You have to push the ball forward. You have to move them forward. You have to work on things. You have to work on yourself. You have to work on your personal development. You have to work on improving yourself. But if you improve yourself, and if you work on proving yourself to yourself and improving yourself for yourself, those things are going to be really massively important, because you're going to continue to feel better about yourself. As you feel better about yourself, it's going to be that much easier to do what I talk about quite often, and that's to embrace your fears, embrace them, and follow through with your dreams. I want you to think about how simple of a concept that is. Embrace your fears and follow through with your dreams. There's no timeline on that. Embrace your fears, embrace the things you're fearful of. Okay, I'm scared of that, you can even say. You don't even have to overcome the fear. I didn't say anything about overcoming it. I'm just saying embrace it. Okay, I'm afraid of the dark. Okay, I'm afraid of Freddy Krueger. Okay, you just admit that you're scared of those things. Okay, I'm a person that's scared to fail here and there. That's okay. A lot of people are. And a lot of people that are really scared to fail are really crazy successful. So can you be successful being scared to fail? Of course you can. You might have to understand that failure is going to be part of the process, because these losses that we have are really just great opportunities to learn. When you're trying to follow through on your dreams, how do you make that happen? You hear people talk about this all the time. If you walk with the lame, you will develop a limp. If other people are slowing you down in your life, if people are naysayers, if people are poo-pooing your ideas, when you go to bring something up and they're like, I don't know about that. Now, if they're adding in some commentary on how you can maybe improve something, that's actually a little bit different, and you might want to try to be a little bit open-minded towards that. But for the most part, if people are shutting down your dreams, it's going to be at a certain point where you're actually going to buy into that, and you'd be like, yeah, the idea isn't that good. Yeah, the idea is kind of dumb. Over a period of time, that'll beat you up, and you will no longer follow through with your dreams. I know countless people who've told me hundreds of different ideas, hundreds of different concepts over the years, and they've never made them happen. I've seen thousands upon thousands of people in the gym, and they're like, yeah, I really want to get my deadlift up over 500 pounds. And they never do. Man, I'd really love to weigh under 300. It never happens, right? These things that people know that they want to give them a shot. They know that they want to do them, but there's something there that's blocking them. And what I'm telling you is, everyone that has ever been put on this earth, it is your birthright to reach and to strive for greatness. Every single person has that impulse towards greatness. Each person's impulse towards greatness might be a little bit different. Not everyone's impulse towards greatness is going to, maybe that person doesn't care to be famous via social media. Maybe that person doesn't care to be on the 5 o'clock news, or maybe that person doesn't care to be a movie star like The Rock, or to be like J-Lo, or whatever it might be. Maybe that person doesn't care to be a professional athlete. All those things are fine, but it's my belief that everyone wants to pursue greatness, and I have proof of it, because anyone who is a police officer, anyone who is a fireman, anyone who is a teacher, anyone who's an employee of anything, anyone who's an entrepreneur, we all have to make money. Everyone has to make money some way. And have you heard anybody say, you know what, I I really hope this year, I hope they cut back my pay a little bit. I hope they bring me backwards a little bit. Everything moves forward. Everything moves forward all the time for all of humanity, not just the United States, not just other countries that are doing well. Everything all around the world moves forward all the time. No matter how much hardship there is in a given country, or how much racism there is, or no matter how much hate there is in the world, or no matter how many disgusting, horrible things there are in this world, and there's a lot of them, every single aspect of the earth and every single aspect of the world improves a little bit all the time. You have that ability. You have that ability tenfold. You have that ability to be a little bit better than you were yesterday. Your starting point might be different than mine. I've told you guys a million times, I'm really lucky. I'm really fortunate. I'm not afraid to say that. I have a wonderful, beautiful wife that has helped me in 9 million different ways that I can't even really put into words. I have amazing parents. I grew up with 2 amazing brothers. I've had some times that were challenging, just like some of you, but maybe for some of you people listening right now, maybe you didn't have great parents. Maybe you started out in a tougher position, but the good news is this: we all possess the ability to get better. And nobody can tell you how much you can learn. No one can put a cap on how much you can know. No one can put a cap on how much you can love. No one can put a cap on how much strength you can gain. The level at which you can learn, or the level at which you can grow, is not determined by anybody on this planet. No one can tell you. You can go to the smartest person in the world and they can't put a cap on that. So my question is, what in the has happened to some of you guys? What in the has happened to some of you girls? What is happening out there? Why are we losing sight of this fact? This is still a fact. You're worried about this and you're worried about that. Are you really going to let any of that slow you down? It's not slowing me down, it's speeding me up. Because I understand that I can get better every day. There's still so many different things for me to work on, for me to get better. I know that you know that this ability lies somewhere within you. Let that scream the loudest. Let your greatness scream the loudest, and shut everything else up for a minute. Shut everything else out. Shut everybody else out. There's no reason to listen to all the noise. You have the ability for greatness. You have the ability to be a genius. Being a genius really just means that you're original. That's really kind of all that it means. I know that there's some different definitions of it out there, but the grand scheme of things, all it means is that you're original. What does original mean? It really just means that you're different and there's nobody else like you. You ever looked at your thumbprint? Is your thumbprint the same as my thumbprint? Is your thumbprint the same as your parents' thumbprint? Is your thumbprint the same as your brother's thumbprint? Your thumbprint is different than every single person in the world. And even more so, even more different than that would be your soul print, the print that you have on your soul, the energy that you have in your body, the beliefs that you have. Do you believe all the exact same things as your significant other? Do you believe all the exact same things as your parents? Are you even of the same religion of your parents anymore? Everything is so different and everything is unique about us. You could be even different ethnicity than your parents are because they combine to make you, right? And so you can have different things floating around in your DNA that makes you different than them. Every single thing about you is different. There's not stuff that's. There are a lot of commonalities that we'll run into, especially when we start talking about the environment around us and societal things. Societal norms make us a little bit more normalized, and maybe that's part of the problem. Maybe that's what happened to people. Maybe people just thought it was normal to be average, or to not strive anymore, or to not push on the gas pedal any longer because they don't want to go too fast around that turn, because what if they crash? What if they crash and burn? Too concerned about it, too worried about it, too concerned, too worried about what other people are going to think, what other people are going to say. But other people don't have to live inside your body, and other people don't have to live with your decisions. You have to live with those decisions. So anytime you're like, I wonder what someone would, shut that down right away. Shut that down right away. And say, you know what? I'm going to do this regardless of that. I'm going to do this maybe even in spite of that sometimes, just because you are crying out to be a little different than somebody. which I think is okay. I kind of like that a little bit. Don't be afraid to be different. What if I talked about many times before, be made out of something different? What does it mean to be made out of something different? What does the average, below average person want to do? The below average person, in my opinion, doesn't want to get any better. And maybe I don't think there's really I think when we say the average person, I think we're talking about someone that doesn't want to move forward. And I wouldn't even really say that's average. I would say that that's probably more like below average. But there's a lot of people that don't want to move forward. They don't really care to improve themselves. And one of the reasons they don't care to improve themselves is because they don't want to go through the work. They don't want to go on a diet. They know they need one. They know they could use one. They know it would be helpful. They know it would be beneficial. They haven't come to the conclusion yet that that's interesting enough to them for them to actually go through and do it. And so they decide not to. A lot of people are just going to want to sit on the couch and be docile and not move around and not go for that 10-minute walk. To be made out of something different, it means that you have the polarity of everybody else. You got the devil on one side, and maybe there's a devil on the other too, I don't know, depending on the person. The devil on one side, an angel on the other, right? One saying good shit, or one saying bad shit, one saying good shit. And you have to kind of determine between the two. This guy's saying, hey, you should watch more porn. This guy over here is saying, you watched plenty in your time, okay? You know, it's all the same. You know what the website is. You don't need to do that anymore. You should go on a walk. You should do something healthy for yourself. This side is saying, hey, you know what? It would be great if you chose to eat better. You know, you have an opportunity each day to eat a little bit better. Hey, how about you read a book instead of watching another Netflix movie? All these different things are going back and forth in our brains all the time. You should play more video games, right? Even just acting out against not doing anything. You know, the decision to not do anything is sometimes the decision that is like the most enjoyable to us, because we're just like, I just really just want to sit down and just relax and just chill. But anyway, I wanted to bring this topic up to you guys today. This is something that's been on my mind really for quite some time, but you know, sometimes these things take a little bit to manifest for me to be able to communicate them out to you. I want you to realize that, you know, each one of us is an original. When you go back in time and you think about the people that we have idolized, the people that we have kind of put up on a pedestal, or the people that we have admired over the years, and sometimes some of these people have been wrongly admired, but a lot of these people that we look up to and a lot of these people that we really identify with, the main thing about them has been that they've been original. That's been the main thing. That's always the main thing. It's just that they're original. They're a little bit different than everybody else, and they're not scared to go to the beat of their own drum. I'll use Elon Musk as a great example. Elon Musk, you know, putting out some pictures of that Cybertruck recently, and people are just totally crapping on him. You know, and people are like, oh, that thing is so ugly. I think so. It's like, hey, listen, you know what the truth of it is Elon Musk is revolutionary, and you're probably not. And he's a visionary, and you're probably not. He has a vision that goes beyond what most people's capacity is currently. But do you have the right to be like Elon Musk from a creative perspective? I don't see why you couldn't be. I don't see what would stop you from being that way. But you would have to be as open-minded as he is. You would have to, Elon Musk's mind still works the same way as when he was a child. And the whole point of this video is to show you guys that a lot of us are beaten up and we're broken down, and we don't act like children anymore, and we need to. We need to explore that side of our brain. We need to explore that creative side of our brain. Where is that? Where did that go? Remember when you were a kid, you took like a little Matchbox car and you just revved it right off the side of the, you just revved it right off the Cheerio bowl box or whatever, the Cheerios box, and you just had, you know, made a jump out of it, and the thing went flying across the room and it hit the window and you got like yelled at for it or whatever, right? It's because you didn't know what that was going to do and you just wanted to see what would happen. Well, let's start seeing what will happen when we start taking chances, when we start doing things. Maybe we'll get yelled at. Maybe we'll piss some people off. Maybe we'll be a little bit like Elon Musk and have people tell us our truck's ugly. Is Elon Musk going to make more money off of that truck, or is he going to make less money? Is his company going to go backwards from the Cybertruck, or is it going to be able to continue to move forward? I guess you guys can determine that. Let me know what some of the hopes and dreams you guys have, and let me know, what has sidetracked you from it? Has it been COVID-19? Has it been you were going to open a restaurant, but this thing happened? I was just driving earlier today and I saw this beautiful development that sprouted up out of nowhere over by where my kids used to go to school. And I was just thinking, you know what? Whoever built that is a total savage. Like, I really admire that. That's awesome. Like, that thing wasn't there 8 months ago. And like during this pandemic, I think they started it maybe slightly before that. And now it's up and it's this beautiful like business center building type thing. But I was like, that person doesn't care. Like, they're just like, you know what, I have a plan, I'm going through with it, and let the chips kind of fall where they may. And I think that's what a lot of us need to do. We need to just take a little bit more chances, take some more risks. Remember what I said earlier, embrace your fears and follow through with your dreams. Strength is never a weakness, weakness is never a strength. Catch you all later.